Hello everyone. Today we begin our journey through the merciless and bloody world of the Roman Empire, a civilization that built roads, aqueducts, and cities, but also transformed violence into public spectacle. Among all the methods of punishment that Rome perfected, none was as feared, brutal, and humiliating as crucifixion. Behind the image of Jesus on the cross, which has crossed centuries as a symbol of pain and faith, existed a much older and widespread practice. The cross was the stage for the torment of Rome's enemies. The cross was the stage for the torment of rebellious slaves and anyone who dared challenge imperial power. And the cruelest part is that it wasn't just about killing, but prolonging suffering and displaying pain before the crowd. So before you get comfortable, go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel, the best history channel on YouTube, but only if you really enjoy exploring the darker side of antiquity. Now dim the lights. Imagine the Appian Way filled with exposed bodies as a cruel warning. And let's discover together why crucifixion was the most brutal and humiliating punishment of the Roman Empire. You wake up startled. The cold stone floor against your face is the first sensation you register. The second is the smell, a nauseating mixture of urine, sweat, and despair that seems to permeate every stone of the cell. Welcome to your last day as a free person in the Roman Empire. Congratulations, you've been found guilty. No, you're not at an all-inclusive hotel in Cancun. You're in a Roman prison of the 1st century AD, and the package you've acquired is the premium deluxe of imperial justice, crucifixion. That moment when you challenged a soldier, or stole bread, or simply looked sideways at the wrong person, now seems like a terrible idea, doesn't it? The morning light timidly infiltrates through a tiny opening in the wall. It's not big enough for you to escape, but it's perfect to remind you that there's a world out there of which you'll no longer be part. The rising sun paints Rome's sky with orange tones. It would be poetic if it weren't your last sunrise. You try to get up, but your wrists and ankles are chained. The cold metal cuts your skin with every movement. You know that feeling when you wake up with a numb hand after sleeping on your arm? Multiply by 10 and add the factor, I'm about to die in a spectacularly painful way. Your mouth is as dry as the Syrian desert, a Roman province you'll never visit. There's no water, no food. The Romans see no sense in wasting resources on someone who will soon be just another public example. The Romans see no sense in wasting resources on someone who will soon be just another public example of don't challenge the empire. It's like canceling breakfast for a guest who's checking out, only permanently. The guards' voices echo through the stone corridor. They're talking about the games at the Colosseum, betting on which gladiator will survive today. The irony doesn't escape you. While they have fun thinking about who will die in the arena, the irony doesn't escape you. While they have fun thinking about who will die in the arena, you prepare for your own public spectacle. At least in the Colosseum, there's a chance of survival. Yours is zero. A rat runs past the corner of the cell. It has more freedom than you now, and probably better life prospects too. You watch the small rodent disappear through a crack, taking with it any hope of escape you might harbor. Even a rat knows it's better to get out of here as soon as possible. The footsteps approach. The creaking of the key in the rusty lock announces the guard's arrival. The show is about to begin, and you're the main attraction. Congratulations. You're the star of Rome's oldest and cruelest variety show. How to die slowly while everyone watches. 2 guards enter the cell. They're not exactly the welcoming committee you'd expect. One of them, a burly man with scars on his face that tell stories of many battles, smiles. It's not a friendly smile. It's that kind of smile a cat would give a mouse before playing with it. Time for the big day, worm. The guard doesn't bother being gentle. Why would he be? In the Roman social hierarchy, you just descended below slaves. You're less than nothing now. It's like being demoted to spam in the empire's inbox. They drag you out of the cell. Your feet barely touch the ground as you're carried through damp, dark corridors. The path is illuminated by torches that cast dancing shadows on the walls. It's like a nightclub. Except instead of dancing until dawn, you'll be executed at sunrise. You emerge into an inner courtyard. The sunlight blinds you momentarily. When your eyes adjust, you see a man in purple toga sitting in an elevated chair. It's the magistrate, responsible for formalizing your sentence. He has the bored expression of someone who has already condemned dozens of people before breakfast. Around you, other guards and some curious citizens have gathered to watch. It's the Roman equivalent of reality show, real people, real consequences, and guaranteed entertainment for those not on the main stage. Some even brought snacks, nothing like a little death sentence to open the appetite. The magistrate unrolls a small scroll and clears his throat. For crimes against the Roman Empire, you have been sentenced to death by crucifixion, to be executed on this day. So all may see the fate of those who challenge Rome's law. He speaks as if reading a menu, without any emotion. You try to speak, protest your innocence, but a guard hits you in the stomach. Air escapes your lungs and you double over in pain. Mental note: Romans aren't big fans of the right to defense. The justice system here is more like an internet meme that went viral too fast. Guilty until proven dead. The magistrate continues. The sentence will be executed on the hill, so all may witness Rome's power and justice. He makes a dismissive gesture with his hand, like someone shooing away an inconvenient fly. For him, you're already dead. It's just an administrative formality now. The guards grab you again. You realize there's no appeal, no last request, no lawyer demanding a new trial. There's no law and order special victims unit in Rome. There's only the law, and it's as relentless as traffic in a modern megalopolis during rush hour. As you're dragged to the next stage of your final journey, you notice some spectators are disappointed. The show was too short. Don't worry, you'll give them a much longer spectacle soon. Your suffering will be the day's premium entertainment. You're taken to another courtyard. This one is larger, open, with high walls and no roof. The morning sun now shines brightly, illuminating what appears to be a wooden post in the center. You don't need a high IQ to realize this post isn't there for decorative purposes. The guards remove your chains only to tie you to the post. Your arms are stretched above your head, and your feet barely touch the ground. It's like that uncomfortable position in yoga class. Except without the relaxing mantra, and with an audience rooting for your failure. A man approaches. Unlike the guards, he doesn't wear armor. He wears only a simple tunic, stained with dark brown. You don't need to be an expert in Roman laundry to know those stains are dried blood. He carries something in his hands, a flagrum, the Roman whip specialized in turning human skin into ground meat. This is Gaius, says one of the guards with a crooked smile. He'll prepare you for the cross. Gaius doesn't smile, doesn't speak. His eyes are empty like those of a dead fish in the market. For him, you're just another body, another day of work. He's the Roman equivalent of a fast food attendant who's prepared so many hamburgers he's lost the ability to feel anything. The first blow catches you by surprise. The flagrum isn't a common whip. It's a weapon with multiple leather straps, each with small pieces of bone and metal tied to the ends. When it hits your back, it doesn't just cut the skin. It tears, lacerates, destroys. The pain is like 1,000 red-hot needles being driven simultaneously. You scream, but no one cares. In fact, some spectators applaud. It's like that moment when someone breaks a plate in a Greek restaurant. Except the plate is your skin and no one is celebrating. Gaius works methodically. Each blow is calculated to cause maximum damage without killing you. The Romans perfected this art over centuries. It's impressive, in a terribly morbid way, how they managed to precisely calibrate the threshold between extreme torture and death. After the 10th blow, you've lost count. Your mind enters a strange state, floating between consciousness and delirium. Your back is no longer yours. It's a mass of open, exposed, bleeding flesh. If Instagram existed in the Roman Empire, this would be the perfect moment for a Talk Transformation Tuesday. Except instead of before and after gym, it would be before and after challenging Rome. Blood runs down your legs, forming a small pool on the stone floor. You hear someone commenting on the quality of the spectacle. "He held up well," says a voice. Usually they faint before. You don't know whether to feel pride or horror at this unsolicited performance review. When Gaius finally stops, you're hanging from the ropes, unable to support your own weight. Your breathing is shallow and rapid. Every movement, every breath sends waves of pain through your body. It's like having the worst muscle cramps of your life, multiplied by 100 in every inch of your body. The guards untie you, and you collapse on the floor like a sack of potatoes. They throw cold water on you, not out of mercy, but to ensure you remain conscious. After all, what fun would a crucifixion be if the star of the show was passed out? It's like paying for a Broadway show and the lead actor deciding to take a nap in the middle of the performance. While you shiver on the floor, wet and bleeding, you realize this was just the appetizer. The main course is yet to come. And you're both the guest and the menu. The guards lift you up. Your legs can barely support you, but that doesn't matter to them. One of them brings something. A heavy, rectangular piece of wood with notches at the ends. It's the patibulum, the horizontal bar of the cross. Your new best friend for the next few minutes. Or as the Romans like to call it, your problem, not ours. They place the patibulum on your wounded shoulders. The weight is crushing, about 45 kilos of rough wood pressing against your open flesh. It's like carrying a small refrigerator after having your back used as a cutting board. It's not exactly what your physiotherapist would recommend. Move. Orders a guard pushing you forward. You take one step, then another. Each movement is a new definition of agony. Sweat runs down your face, mixing with involuntary tears, but you have no choice but to continue. It's literally a walk or die situation, although walking also leads to death. You exit onto the street. The morning sun is already high, beating down mercilessly. Rome's streets are full. Merchants, slaves, free citizens, all stopping to observe the walking spectacle that is you. Some spit as you pass. Others shout insults. Children point and laugh. It's like being a digital influencer, except with negative likes and zero possibility of sponsorship. A guard walks ahead, announcing your crime. See the enemy of Rome.
See the fate of criminals!
The crowd responds with shouts of approval. The empire transforms your punishment into public entertainment, into civic lesson. It's the Roman equivalent of lots of content, zero empathy on modern social media. The path is long and winding. Rome's streets weren't designed thinking of the comfort of condemned carrying their own crosses. They're steep, narrow, paved with irregular stones that seem determined to make you stumble. It's like an obstacle course from hell, with spectators rooting against you. You pass through a market. The smell of fresh bread, fruits, and spices fills the air, contrasting cruelly with your situation. You'll never taste these things again. You'll never again experience the simple pleasure of a meal. It's like passing in front of your favorite snack bar and remembering you're on a diet. Eternally, your legs fail. You fall to your knees, the patibulum crushing your shoulders. The pain is so intense your vision darkens for a moment. The crowd laughs. A guard whips you, ordering you to get up. We don't have all day, worm. Apparently, even your execution needs to meet a tight schedule. Roman efficiency at its best. With superhuman effort, you get up again. Your legs tremble like jelly. Blood runs down your back, marking the path like a macabre trail. Someone in the crowd comments you won't last long on the cross. Someone in the crowd comments you won't last long on the cross. Another bets you will. Apparently, you've become the object of bets. At least you're contributing to the local economy. The city begins to fall behind. The path now goes up a hill. The terrain becomes steeper, more difficult. Your lungs burn, begging for air that seems insufficient. Each step is a battle against gravity, against pain, against the crushing desire to simply give up and let the guards drag you the rest of the way. At the top of the hill, you see other vertical posts already planted in the ground. Some already have occupants, poor souls who arrived before you, now hanging in various stages of agony. It's like arriving at a crowded restaurant and realizing your table isn't the best in the house. Actually, it's the worst possible table anywhere of all time. The guards stop. You've reached your final destination, Golgotha, the place of the skull, the last stop on the Rome for Criminals tour. Check-in completed, no possibility of checkout. Finally, you reach the top of the hill. Your legs feel like water, your lungs burn, and your back is a map of pain so detailed it would make a cartographer cry. The guards tear the patibulum from your shoulders, and you collapse on the dusty ground, grateful for the momentary relief from the weight. The relief lasts exactly 3 seconds. Rough hands grab you again, dragging you to a flat space. In the center, a vertical post, the stipes, is already firmly planted in the ground. It's like arriving at the party and discovering your place is already marked. Except this is the worst party ever. Stretch out your arms, orders one of the guards. When you hesitate, he doesn't waste time with niceties. He simply kicks the back of your knees, making you fall. Another guard holds your arms and stretches them over the patibulum, which is now on the ground. The rough wood scratches your palms. A man approaches, carrying a leather bag. From the other's expression, you deduce this is a specialized professional, the Roman equivalent of death's IT technician. He evaluates your wrists with the clinical precision of a doctor. Except his goal is to maximize pain, not relieve it. This one will last, he comments casually, like a barista evaluating coffee bean quality. It's comforting to know your body has admirable qualities, even if only to serve as a public example of what happens when you irritate Rome. The specialist removes something from the bag, iron nails. These aren't small modern steel nails, but thick, irregularly handmade metal stakes, about 18 centimeters long. If the tool looks brutal, it's because it was designed exactly for that. It's like buying a can opener when you need one to open cans. Brutal efficiency. He positions the tip of a nail against your wrist. Not in the center of the palm as often depicted in art, but in the space between the forearm bones, just above the wrist. This placement isn't out of mercy. It's to ensure your body's weight won't tear the flesh of your hand, allowing you to hang longer. The first hammer blow is like lightning of pure pain, so intense your mind simply can't process it. The second blow brings sounds, the impact of metal against metal, the horrible grinding of bones being separated. The second blow brings sounds, the impact of metal against metal, the horrible grinding of bones being separated, your own scream. The third blow brings clarity, the understanding that this is just the beginning. The nail pierces through your wrist, penetrates the wood, and becomes firmly stuck. Blood spurts from the wound running down your arm. Your entire body writhes involuntarily, trying to escape. Your entire body writhes involuntarily, trying to escape, but strong guards keep you immobilized. It's like that moment when you stub your toe on the table corner, multiplied by 1,000, and without the part where the pain eventually passes. The specialist moves to your other wrist, repeating the process with the efficiency of someone who's done this hundreds of times. You try to prepare yourself, but there's no possible preparation for such a level of pain. Your body goes into shock. Your vision darkens at the edges, and for one merciful moment, you almost faint. But the Romans don't want you to faint. A guard throws cold water in your face, bringing you back to the terrible reality. Not yet, criminal. The show has barely begun. It's like when your alarm goes off in the morning, except instead of waking you up for work, it wakes you up for more torture. Now comes the really impressive part of Roman engineering. Several guards lift the patibulum, with you attached to it, and fit it on top of the vertical stipes. The movement makes the nails tear even more at your wrists, and you scream again. The crowd applauds the demonstration of strength and coordination. It's like a deadly flash mob, except you're the only dancer, and the music is composed only of your screams. Your feet barely touch a small platform, the suppedaneum, nailed to the vertical post. The specialist doesn't waste time. He crosses your feet, one over the other. The specialist doesn't waste time. He crosses your feet, one over the other, and with a single long nail, pierces both, fixing them to the wood. The pain is so intense you can't even scream. Only a strangled sound escapes your throat, and so, it's done. You're crucified. Hanging by 3 nails, your body forms a terrible letter Y against Rome's blue sky. It's not the most comfortable position. In fact, it's scientifically designed to be as uncomfortable as possible. It's like sleeping on a very small sofa, except the sofa is made of pain, and the pillow is made of agony. The specialist steps back to admire his work, like an artist evaluating his masterpiece. Satisfied, he packs his tools and walks away, already thinking about the next client. For him, you're just another day's work. For you, he's the architect of your personal hell. The guards nail a small board above your head, the titulus, declaring your name and crime in Latin. It's your last contribution to Roman society, serving as a walking warning. Well, not exactly walking. You won't be going anywhere for a good while. Now that you're properly installed in your new vertical residence, it's time to meet your new constant companion, pain. But it's not just any pain, it's a complete symphony of agony, with different instruments playing simultaneously, each trying to surpass the other in intensity. First, there's the penetrating pain in your wrists and feet, where the nails tore flesh, tendons, and nerves. It's a burning, throbbing sensation, like someone constantly twisting a knife in the wounds. When the nails pierced your wrists, they hit the median nerve. Imagine hitting your elbow's funny bone, multiplied by 100, permanently. Your shoulders quickly begin to protest the unnatural position. They stretch out, slowly dislocate. It's like carrying 2 50-kilo backpacks hanging from your arms for hours on end, except you can't simply put them on the ground when you get tired. Your chest and arm muscles tremble with constant effort. Breathing becomes your new challenge. In the position you're in, your diaphragm can't function normally. You can only breathe superficially, pulling air in small, insufficient sips. It's like trying to breathe through a straw while doing intense exercise. Each breath requires you to push yourself up, supporting yourself on your nailed feet. Thirst arrives with an intensity you've never experienced. The bleeding, sweat, and accelerated breathing quickly dehydrate your body under the Roman sun. Your tongue swells, your lips crack. It's like a monstrous hangover combined with a desert marathon, without the fun part of drinking or running. Remember your back, lacerated by the flagrum hours ago. It's now pressed against the rough wood of the cross. Every movement, however small, makes the wood scrape against the open wounds. It's like having sandpaper rubbed on a severe sunburn, continuously, without stopping. And then there are the spasms. Oh, the spasms. Your muscles, overloaded and deprived of oxygen, begin to contract involuntarily. Waves of violent cramps run through your legs, abdomen, arms. It's like your body is rebelling against you, each muscle independently deciding to make your situation even worse. The sun continues its relentless journey across the sky, burning your already traumatized skin. Without protection, without water, you begin to develop heat stroke. Fever sets in. Your mind floats between agonizing clarity and merciful delirium. It's like being simultaneously hyperconscious and completely disconnected. The pressure in your chest increases. Your heart works frantically, pumping blood through an increasingly compromised system. The sensation is of an elephant sitting on your chest, getting heavier each hour. Breathing becomes not just difficult, but an active battle you must fight every second. You try to change position to get some relief, but every movement is a choice between different types of agony. Supporting yourself on your feet relieves pressure on your arms. Supporting yourself on your feet relieves pressure on your arms, but intensifies pain in the pierced feet. Relaxing your feet makes all your weight hang from your wrists, tearing the tissues even more. It's like choosing between being hit by a train or falling off a cliff. Crucifixion is brutally efficient in its cruelty. It transforms your body's own survival mechanism into an instrument of torture. Every natural instinct, breathing, changing position, seeking comfort, becomes a source of new agony. It's as if the Romans had carefully studied human physiology just to discover how to completely subvert it. You've heard that the final cause of death on the cross is usually asphyxia. As your muscles fail and you can no longer push yourself to breathe, carbon dioxide accumulates in your blood. It's like slowly drowning in air. Your body begs for oxygen you simply can't provide. What historical texts don't mention is the psychological roller coaster. Moments of crystalline clarity alternating with periods of absolute confusion. Memories of your former life surge vividly, only to be interrupted by waves of pain so intense they obliterate any coherent thought. It's like having an out-of-body experience, except you remain painfully aware of every sensation. And the worst part? You know this can continue for hours or days. The Romans perfected the art of keeping people alive on the cross for the maximum possible time. It's like a marathon runner, seeing the kilometer marker go backward. Instead of forward, the finish line moves away. Every time you think you're approaching it, from your elevated position, you have a panoramic view of the surrounding environment. Not that it's particularly comforting, but at least it offers some distraction from the constant pain that has become your existence. The Crucifixion Hill, or Golgotha, as some call it, is a strategically chosen location to maximize visibility of your suffering. The terrain is arid, rocky, with sparse and twisted vegetation that seems as tortured as the condemned who adorn the place. It's not exactly the type of landscape that would appear on Visit Rome postcards. Unless morbid tourism was a trend at the time. Spoiler, it was. Around you, other crosses dot the horizon like macabre trees in a hellish orchard. Some occupants are in more advanced stages than you. Limp bodies, fallen heads, silent. Others are newcomers, their screams still strong, their struggles still vigorous. It's like arriving at a festival where some are already passed out while others are still in the animated phase. The smell is indescribable. A mixture of blood, sweat, urine, feces, and death under the merciless sun. There are no bathrooms on the cross. There's no dignity. Your body doesn't stop functioning just because you're being executed. It just makes everything part of the spectacle. It's like being at the worst music festival in the world, where the chemical toilets exploded and no one came to clean. Ravens and other birds of prey circle patiently above. They know what's coming. Some bolder ones already perch on crosses of those who can no longer shoo them away. The Romans usually let bodies rot on crosses as part of the punishment, denying even the right to proper burial. These birds are essentially vultures waiting for room service. The base of the hill bustles with activity. Guards play dice, drink diluted wine, chat casually as if they were at a particularly boring picnic. For them, this is just another day's work. Occasionally, they look up to check the condemned, but it's more out of obligation than real interest. It's like those mall security guards who pretend to be alert while mentally already at happy hour. Small crowds form and disperse throughout the day. Some come specifically to see you or other specific condemned. Others are just morbid tourists, passing by to see the spectacle like visiting any attraction. Look, honey, let's see the crucifixions before lunch, and then we can stop by the Colosseum. Roman tourism at its best. Relatives of some condemned gather at the base of crosses, crying, praying, or simply present in a final act of love and solidarity. The guards usually tolerate them, as long as they don't interfere. It's a small mercy in a system designed to be relentless. Occasionally, street vendors pass by offering water, wine, bread and other snacks to spectators and relatives. No one offers anything to the crucified. That would be considered interference with punishment. It's like dying of thirst next to a mineral water convention. The irony is almost as painful as the nails. The road that passes near the hill is busy. Travelers, merchants and pilgrims enter and leave Jerusalem, receiving a graphic reminder of Rome's power right at the city's entrance. Welcome to Jerusalem, controlled by Rome. Please observe to your right examples of what happens to troublemakers. Government marketing at its best. As the sun advances across the sky, the shadows of the crosses lengthen, creating a macabre sundial. The guards use these shadows to track time. We're already in the third shadow, soon comes the shift change. Roman punctuality, even in death administration. Some of the spectators bet on how long each condemned will last. They evaluate your physical constitution, the severity of the flagellation wounds, your ability to rise to breathe. It's like a sports pool, except the only guaranteed loser is you. From time to time, a Roman officer passes by on horseback, checking if everything is in order. He barely looks at the crucified. They're just statistics, results of bureaucratic processes, items crossed off an imperial to-do list. Crucify rebels from Judea, done. Next item, suppress uprising in Gaul. The contrast between your agony and the daily routine that continues around is perhaps one of the most surreal aspects of the experience. People laugh, negotiate, discuss politics, arrange dinners. People laugh, negotiate, discuss politics, arrange dinners, all in the shadow of agonizing bodies. It's like dying in the middle of a busy shopping mall where no one notices. Except in this case, they notice, they just don't care. In the distance, the city continues its life. Smoke rises from temples. The distant sound of trumpets announces events. Life goes on. The empire doesn't stop because of some executions. In fact, these executions are part of what keeps the empire running. Constant and public reminders that order will be maintained at any cost. And you, hanging between heaven and earth, no longer belong to either. You're in limbo, existing in a space that is neither life nor death, but a terrible, prolonged transition between both. It's like being trapped in the worst possible waiting room, where the only exit is the end. From your involuntary perch, you observe the crowd that gathers to watch your suffering. It's a diverse group, a true cross-section of Roman society, united only by morbid fascination with your agony. Public entertainment at its peak, courtesy of the empire. There are the casual curious, who stop briefly on their way to somewhere else. They look up, make a comment or two. That one won't last until sunset. Or look how he still tries to breathe, and go on their way. It's like those people who slow down to look at road accidents. Except you're the accident, and they don't even need to slow down. Some women from Roman high society are present, protected from the sun by slaves holding parasols. They observe with clinical detachment, commenting on punishment efficiency while drinking chilled wine. It's really necessary, you know. Keeps the plebs in line. It's the Roman equivalent of socialites discussing public safety policy during Sunday brunch. A group of children throws stones at the crucified, aiming mainly at feet, seeing who can extract the loudest moan. The guards don't interfere. It's just children's fun. After all, you wonder what kind of adults these children will become, growing up in a society where public torture is an acceptable form of children's entertainment. Probably executioners or politicians, or both. Merchants take advantage of the opportunity, selling snacks, water, cheap wine, and even small replicas of crosses as souvenirs. Take a souvenir of Rome's justice. Only 2 denarii! It's like the merchandise kiosk at the exit of a macabre theme park. I survived watching someone not survive crucifixion. There are the professional mockers, people who make this a routine, going from cross to cross, elaborating especially cruel insults. Hey look, he's trying to talk! What was that? Can't breathe, right? Their laughter is accompanied by exaggerated imitations of your efforts to breathe. Internet trolls before the internet, dedicating their time to ridiculing those who literally can't fight back. Some local priests pass by, nodding approvingly at seeing punishment of enemies of the established order. They quote sacred texts and make observations about how your punishment is deserved in the eyes of the gods. It's comforting to know that even before social media, there were already people ready to justify any cruelty with a veneer of religious morality. In contrast, there are the silent ones, those who observe with illegible expressions, without mocking but also without offering comfort. Some seem to study the process with academic interest. others perhaps contemplating their own sins, thinking, "There go I, but for the grace of the gods." The Roman Stoics, philosophizing about mortality, using you as an object of meditation. Occasionally, someone in the crowd shows genuine compassion. A look of pity, a murmured prayer, a child pulled away by a father who doesn't want her to see such cruelty. These are rare points of light in the darkness of your experience, like finding a 5-star review for a terrible restaurant. It doesn't change the quality of the meal, but at least you know someone cares. A staggering drunk shouts incoherent insults before vomiting and being dragged away. Even in his pitiful state, he's still having a better day than you. At least he can vomit and walk away. At least he can vomit and walk away. Luxuries you no longer have. As the day progresses, the crowd changes. Morning spectators leave, replaced by afternoon enthusiasts. It's like shift changes at a particularly morbid theater where the show never stops, only the audience renews. What you perceive, through the fog of pain, is that for almost everyone present, you're no longer human. You're an object, a lesson, an entertainment. Your individuality was completely erased the moment the nails pierced your flesh. It's like being demoted from person to emoji. Specifically, that emoji that expresses, "This is what happens when you challenge Rome." And perhaps that's the true cruelty of crucifixion. Before even physical death, you suffer complete social death. Your humanity is revoked in full view of all, transforming you into a symbol, a warning. Your humanity is revoked in full view of all, transforming you into a symbol, a warning, anything except a person. In modern terms, you've been cancelled, literally. Time on the cross has a strange quality. Simultaneously, it passes with agonizing slowness and in disorienting bursts. Pain distorts your perception, creating a temporal experience no Roman clock could measure. It's like being in a dentist's waiting room where every minute seems like an hour. Except the dentist is a psychopath and you'll never be cold. Morning drags on. The sun rises inexorably in the sky, heating the wood of the cross and burning your already battered skin. There's no sunscreen in the Roman Empire. There's no sunscreen in the Roman Empire. And even if there were, it wouldn't be offered to the condemned. It's like being on a tropical beach without shade, umbrella, water, or possibility of leaving. Each hour brings new challenges. In the second hour, thirst becomes almost unbearable. Your tongue swells, your lips crack, and you fantasize about a simple sip of water with the same intensity as a teenager fantasizes about first love. Water becomes not just a word, but an obsession, a mantra, your new religion. In the third hour, your muscles enter a phase of continuous spasms. Your body trembles involuntarily, making the nails tear even more at the wounds, creating a vicious cycle of pain, generating more pain. It's like having the worst cramp of your life, in all muscles simultaneously, without being able to massage or stretch them for relief. Around noon, the 6th hour, as the Romans count, the sun is directly above. There's no shade. The heat is relentless. Your head throbs with the onset of heat stroke. Your head throbs with the onset of heat stroke, and you alternate between chills and waves of feverish heat. Some crucified around delirious, talking to people who aren't there. You wonder if you're doing the same. The gods have their midday meal in the shade of an improvised tent. The smell of bread, olives, and wine reaches you, intensifying your hunger and thirst. They eat with the carefree appetite of men for whom this is just another day's work. It's like starving to death while watching a food critic's Instagram. As the afternoon advances, a strange lethargy begins to set in. The pain doesn't diminish. You just develop a different relationship with it. It's like living next to a noisy train line. It never stops being intrusive, but somehow becomes the new normal. Your body is approaching its limit. The 7th, 8th, 9th hour pass in a confused blur. You oscillate between sharp consciousness and a delirious fog. In moments of clarity, you observe the other crucified. Some have already died. Others are so close it hardly matters. Some, like you, continue in the terrible middle ground, neither alive enough to have hope, nor dead enough to have peace. Occasional visitors offer wine mixed with myrrh to the condemned, a mild narcotic that can dull pain. The guards allow this. After all, it doesn't interfere with punishment and may prolong the spectacle by preventing premature deaths from shock. It's like offering a band-aid to someone with an amputated leg, completely inadequate. But still, you yearn for that minimal relief. As the sun begins its descent, a new concern arises among the more conscious condemned. It's the eve of an important Jewish holiday, and Roman law, out of respect for local sensibilities. Roman law, out of respect for local sensibilities, or more likely to avoid riots, doesn't allow bodies to remain exposed on crosses during such occasions. This means those who haven't yet died will face Crucifixion, the breaking of legs. This apparently merciful procedure has a cruel purpose. Unable to push up with their legs to breathe, the crucified die quickly by asphyxiation. It's like finally receiving the remote control after hours of a terrible program. It's like finally receiving the remote control after hours of a terrible program, only to discover the only button that works is the one that changes to an even worse channel. The shadows lengthen. The air gets cooler. On any other day, it would be a welcome relief after the scorching heat. Today, it only brings the reminder that your time, whether of life or torment, is coming to an end. It's like seeing the credits begin to roll in a horror movie, knowing the final scene is yet to come. The 10th hour, the 11th. For those watching from outside, time continues its constant rhythm. For you, hanging between heaven and earth, each moment contains an eternity of pain. Each hour is an era of suffering. And yet, paradoxically, your life is passing too quickly, slipping through your fingers like sand mixed with blood. Among the crowd that comes and goes during your day on the cross, the Roman soldiers deserve special attention. After all, they're technically your hosts at this unpleasant event, the official providers of your misery. And like any group of workers on a long shift, they've developed ways to pass the time. The regular soldiers, common legionaries assigned to execution duty, show a mixture of boredom and professional indifference. For them, supervising crucifixions is just another tedious task, like patrolling walls or escorting supply carts. It's like those mall security guards you see sitting on stools, trying to look alert while fighting sleep. This one will still last hours, comments a younger soldier, looking at you with clinical assessment. He has good lungs. His older companion shrugs. I've seen weaker ones last 2 days. Depends on the will to live. They discuss your probable longevity like meteorologists, debating weather forecast, with academic interest and zero emotional involvement under the small tent set up to protect them from the sun. 4 soldiers play dice. They're betting their extra rations, small coins, and ironically, the confiscated possessions of the condemned. Your tunic, your sandals. Anything of value you possessed is now a prize in a game of chance among bored men. It's like having your belongings auctioned on eBay while you're still alive to watch. The centurion, recognizable by his transverse crested helmet, keeps meticulous records on a wax tablet. Name of condemned, crime, hour of crucifixion, estimated hour of death. Rome loves its bureaucracy, even, or perhaps especially, when it comes to executions. It's like a particularly morbid project manager updating his Gantt chart. Crucifixion number 7, delayed. Intervention needed to meet deadline. Occasionally, a higher-ranking officer passes by on horseback for an inspection. He barely looks at the crucified, focusing on checking if soldiers are fulfilling their duties properly. Make sure they don't receive water. Thirst is part of the punishment, he instructs, before riding back to the city. Middle management at its best, worried about procedures, not people. The soldiers exchange stories about memorable crucifixions they've witnessed. Remember that one in Cyrene who sang for 6 hours before dying? And that one who managed to spit on the prefect when he passed to inspect? They're the office stories of the ancient world, except the office is an execution site, and the stories are nightmares. As the day advances, soldiers take turns. The new shift arrives, fresh and rested, bringing food and drink to share. They receive a brief report on each condemned. This one is almost going. That one still has strength. The one in the middle has been delirious since noon. It's like shift change at a hospital, except the patients are being actively killed instead of cured. One of the younger soldiers from the new shift seems uncomfortable. Maybe it's his first assignment to supervise crucifixions? The veterans notice and begin to provoke him. Feeling sick, Gaius. Maybe you want to go up there and keep them company? Harsh laughter follows. The young man hardens his expression, determined not to show weakness. Tomorrow, he'll be laughing along with the others. That's how insensitivity spreads, one soldier at a time. For most soldiers, you're no longer human. You're a task to be managed, a logistical problem, part of the job. This ability to dehumanize is essential for their work. Few could inflict such suffering if they truly considered their victims as people equal to them. It's like modern social media content moderators who need to desensitize themselves to endure what they see daily. It's like modern social media content moderators who need to desensitize themselves to endure what they see daily. Except these men are the creators of disturbing content, not just its filters. When the sun begins to set, an officer arrives with new orders. Break the legs of those still living. The procurator wants everyone dead before nightfall. The soldiers nod, taking heavy iron bars. The soldiers nod, taking heavy iron bars. The same ones used to break gates in battle, now redirected to break human bodies. It's like the last call at a library. We're closing. Finish your activities. You watch, through eyes clouded by pain and dehydration, as they approach methodically, cross by cross. Roman efficiency in action, to the bitter end. You're not alone in your agony. Crucifixion was rarely a solo event. Romans preferred to execute several condemned at once, maximizing efficiency and the spectacle's impact. It's like an extremely morbid music festival, where all performances occur simultaneously and no one has fun. To your right is an older man, bearded, his body covered with old scars, suggesting a difficult life even before this brutal end. From what you could understand from the announcements, he was a thief, caught robbing a wealthy merchant. In any other society, this might result in prison or flogging. In Rome, under certain circumstances, it means the cross. It's like being sentenced to the electric chair for speeding. The disproportionality is part of the system. The old thief oscillates between moments of silent resignation and sudden outbursts of creative blasphemies directed at the gods, the Romans, and occasionally you, simply for being within voice range. "Shut up," a guard eventually shouts. "Or I'll make sure you stay here until after the ravens eat your eyes." The man laughs, a terrible gurgling sound, but falls silent. Even in death, the threat of something worse still has power. To your left is a younger man, perhaps only 20. He doesn't stop crying, calling for his mother in a voice that gets weaker each hour. You couldn't discover his crime, perhaps a political offense, perhaps nothing more than being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Romans aren't particularly demanding when they need to make an example. It's like being permanently banned from a platform because of an ambiguous comment, except the platform is life. Further down the row of crosses, a man doesn't stop shouting proclamations about the empire's end. Rome will fall. The gods will bring justice. His voice is hoarse, almost inaudible now. His voice is hoarse, almost inaudible now, but he persists with a fanatic's tenacity. The guards are betting on how long he'll continue before his lungs fail completely. He's the Roman equivalent of a political troll on Twitter. Annoying, persistent, and ultimately ineffective. One of the crucified has already died. His body hangs limp, head fallen forward, motionless despite the insects beginning to gather. The guards check periodically, poking him with spears to confirm. Soon they'll break his legs anyway. Standard procedure to ensure no one is faking. It's like the tech support attendant asking you to restart the computer, even when you both know it won't solve the problem. One of the condemned receives visits. A woman who must be his wife, accompanied by 2 small children. They stay at a respectful distance, unable to offer any comfort beyond their presence. The woman tries to prevent the children from seeing the worst, but it's an impossible task. It's like trying to protect someone from movie spoilers when they're watching in real time. The horror is inevitable. You rarely speak to each other. Conversation requires breath, and breath is the most precious resource on the cross. Still, there's silent communication, exchanged glances, almost imperceptible nods, an improvised community of the dying, united only by shared circumstance. It's like a group of strangers trapped in a falling elevator. Solidarity born from shared disaster. As the day advances, voices diminish. Screams become moans, moans become gasping breaths, and for some, even that eventually ceases. The row of crosses becomes quieter but no more peaceful. It's like watching an online chat room slowly die, one user disconnected notification at a time. You notice patterns in people's reactions to crucifixion. Some fight to the end, writhing and pulling against the nails as if sheer willpower could free them. Others find a kind of trance, eyes fixed on a distant point. Others find a kind of trance, eyes fixed on a distant point, breathing in a methodical rhythm. Some pray, others curse, some do both. It's like observing the 5 stages of grief happening simultaneously in different bodies. It's like observing the 5 stages of grief happening simultaneously in different bodies. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance, all at once. All useless. The younger man to your left has finally stopped calling for his mother. His eyes are glazed, his breathing irregular. You wonder if he's still conscious, or if his mind finally found refuge far from brutal reality. You almost feel envious. It's like seeing someone fall asleep during a terrible movie while you're forced to stay awake. Even in the loneliest of deaths, there exists a strange community in crucifixion. No one else in the world can exactly understand what you're experiencing. except the tormented souls hanging beside you. In the Roman world, where gods and mortals supposedly maintained a relationship of exchanges and bargains, crucifixion represented a curious theological problem. You're hanging between heaven and earth, in a state of public punishment, and you can't help thinking about the spiritual implications of your situation. It's like being put on eternal phone hold with the universe's complaints department. For Romans, crucifixion wasn't just physical punishment, but spiritual too. Dying so degradingly meant your spirit would never find peace in the afterlife. Your body exposed to the elements, eventually thrown in a common grave. Your body exposed to the elements, eventually thrown in a common grave without proper funeral rites. It was a sentence of eternal damnation. It's like being permanently banned not just from life, but also from respectable death. Priests of various cults occasionally pass by the crucifixion hill. Some observe with clinical approval, seeing the God's justice being fulfilled through Roman hands. Others murmur prayers, not necessarily for mercy for the condemned, but to protect the community from spiritual pollution such deaths might bring. It's like that neighbor who complains not because they care about your well-being. It's like that neighbor who complains not because they care about your well-being, but because your suffering is ruining the view from their window. You notice a group of Jews keeping distance from the scene. Their expressions are complex. Some seem horrified, others resigned. For them, crucifixion is doubly terrible. For them, crucifixion is doubly terrible, as their scriptures mention that cursed is everyone who hangs on wood. It's like being not just executed, but also having your spiritual profile permanently deleted and blocked. In contrast, some Stoic philosophers observe crucifixions with academic interest. For them, this is the supreme test of indifference to physical suffering that their philosophy preaches. Easy for them to say, comfortably positioned on the ground with clean togas and full bellies. It's like the motivational coach who says, overcome your limits while watching you drown. From your cross you see Jupiter's temple in the distance, its marble gleaming under the sun. The gods seem terribly silent now. All those offerings, prayers, and sacrifices you made throughout life. Where's the return on that spiritual investment? It's like discovering your retirement plan was a pyramid scheme, exactly when you need the money most. Some of the other crucified pray aloud, begging for divine intervention, for a last-minute miracle. The gods find this hilarious. If your gods were real, shouts one of them, do you think you'd be here? Practical Roman theology. If the nails are still holding, the gods obviously don't care. A strange-looking old man spends hours observing crucifixions with disturbing intensity. Some gods call him prophet, half joking, half superstitious. He points to the sky occasionally and murmurs about signs and portents. Romans are practical in matters of engineering and war, but surprisingly superstitious in everything else. It's like the rational CEO who consults his horoscope before major business decisions. As the sun begins to set, some Jewish spectators leave hastily. The Sabbath is approaching, and they can't risk ritual impurity. Roman law generally respects this aspect of their beliefs. Roman law generally respects this aspect of their beliefs, which means bodies can't remain on crosses during their holy day. That's why guards are preparing to break the crucified's legs to speed up the process. Religion influencing, execution scheduling. An early example of how religious holidays affect business hours. One of the crucified beside you begins to laugh, a terrible sound, interrupted by gasping breaths. I prayed all my life, he manages to say. And this is my gratitude. It's hard to disagree with his theology at this moment. The cross has a way of clarifying spiritual priorities and exposing inconvenient truths. It's like that moment of existential clarity at 3 a.m. It's like that moment of existential clarity at 3 a.m., except extended for hours and accompanied by unbearable pain. Curiously, despite crucifixion's evidently terrible nature, it would eventually become the central symbol of one of history's most successful religions. One day, people will wear small golden crosses as jewelry. One day, people will wear small golden crosses as jewelry and hang them on walls as decoration. The complete transformation of a torture symbol into one of hope and redemption. It's like the electric chair becoming a popular good luck charm 2,000 years from now. It's like the electric chair becoming a popular good luck charm 2,000 years from now. History has a very strange sense of humor. But for you, hanging and suffering now, there's no visible redemption, no greater meaning, no apparent divine purpose. There's only the brutal reality of pain, heaven's indifference. There's only the brutal reality of pain, heaven's indifference, and the growing certainty that if there's any cosmic plan, You definitely weren't consulted about it. The sun begins its descent on the horizon, painting the sky with orange and red tones that remind of dried blood on the crosses. You've survived hours that seemed like centuries. You've survived hours that seemed like centuries, but now you face the final stage of your journey, death on the cross. And even in this, the Romans offer several options, none particularly pleasant. Most crucified die of asphyxia. The position on the cross isn't just painful, it's lethally ingenious. Your extended arms and body weight pulling down compress the thoracic cavity, making each breath a battle. To breathe, you need to push your body up, supporting yourself on nailed feet, trading one terrible pain for another, just to get a gulp of air. It's like trying to breathe with an elephant sitting on your chest. It's like trying to breathe with an elephant sitting on your chest, while needing to stand on nails to relieve the pressure. Eventually, exhaustion wins. Your muscles, deprived of oxygen and overloaded with lactic acid, simply stop responding. You can no longer rise to breathe. Each breath becomes shallower than the last. Carbon dioxide accumulates in the blood, creating a sensation of panic and suffocation. It's like drowning on dry land with air around you that you can't reach. Other causes of death compete for the honor of freeing you from this existence. Hypovolemic shock, blood and fluid loss, leaves your body unable to maintain basic functions. Your skin is pale and cold despite the day's heat. Your heart accelerates, trying to pump an increasingly smaller volume of blood. It's like a car trying to run when the fuel tank is almost empty. Systems begin to fail one after another. Intense dehydration, after hours under the sun without a drop of water, causes multiple organ failure. Your kidneys stop working. Your brain, deprived of fluids and essential electrolytes, can no longer maintain basic cognitive functions. Mental confusion sets in. You no longer know where you are or why. It's like a computer overheating and randomly closing programs. Before complete shutdown. For some, neurogenic shock, extreme trauma to the nervous system, causes collapse. The nails piercing points, with high nerve concentration, send pain signals so intense and constant that the nervous system simply gives up. It's like a circuit breaker that trips when electrical overload threatens to burn down the entire house. You notice the guards approaching with heavy iron bars. Crucifixion, leg breaking, is a Roman mercy, though designed less from compassion and more from administrative convenience. Breaking the tibias and fibulas with blunt blows, they ensure you can no longer rise to breathe. Death by asphyxiation comes in minutes, not hours. It's like when the dentist says, "You'll feel just slight pressure." Before excruciating pain. Technically true, but dramatically understated. Or maybe you'll receive the mercy blow, a spear through your heart or lungs. When guards are in a hurry or particularly merciful, this method is employed. It's relatively quick, though spectacularly bloody. The Roman spear pierces between ribs, hitting vital organs. If you're lucky, death is almost instantaneous. It's like having the entire dying process compressed into one intense moment. Not necessarily better, just more efficient. For those left without intervention, the process can continue for days. The documented record is almost 9 days, an endurance feat no human would wish to achieve. The strongest last longer, their bodies refusing to yield even when death would be a blessing. It's like that smartphone with surprisingly durable battery when you really need an... Excuse not to answer messages. It's like that smartphone with surprisingly durable battery when you really need an... Excuse not to answer messages. Persistent beyond any utility. As the sun sets, guards begin working methodically, cross by cross. The sound of breaking bones echoes across the hill, followed by final sharp gasps. It's Roman efficiency at its peak. Ensuring all condemned are dead before the Jewish Sabbath begins, respecting local religious sensibilities while concluding brutal executions. Bureaucracy and barbarism, perfectly balanced. Some bodies will be delivered to families if they have enough influence to request such privilege. Most will be discarded in common graves, denying them proper funeral rites. A final punishment that, for many ancient cultures, was worse than death itself. It's like being excluded from the cosmic after party. Your body and soul equally rejected. When guards reach your cross, you're barely conscious. Hours of unimaginable pain, extreme dehydration and blood loss have left you on the brink of collapse. The world around you seems distant, as if you're observing it through a narrow tunnel that gets darker at the edges. The centurion looks at you, assessing clinically. This one is almost gone. Finish it. A guard positions the iron bar. Another raises a spear. The sun casts its last rays over the hill of skulls. The sun casts its last rays over the hill of skulls, illuminating the spear's metal with an almost beautiful red-golden glow. You breathe one last time, a shallow, insufficient sigh. The world darkens. Sound disappears. The pain finally ceases. Your body hangs inert on the cross. Another example of Roman power, and the consequence of defying it. But what happens now? For Romans, death was just the beginning of an elaborate sequence of post-execution procedures. For Romans, death was just the beginning of an elaborate sequence of post-execution procedures, each with its own punitive meaning. It's like those terms of service that remain valid even after you cancel the subscription. The standard procedure would be to leave your body on the cross for days as a continuing warning to the living. Decomposing bodies were graphic reminders of criminals' fate, more effective than any wanted poster. It's like those car accident videos used to educate teenagers about safe driving, except on imperial scale and with real rather than simulated consequences. Birds of prey begin to gather. Ravens, vultures, and other opportunistic creatures see your body as a free buffet. Romans not only allowed this, but considered it part of the punishment. Being devoured by animals meant not even your physical form would remain intact. It's like being deleted from existence in stages. First life, then dignity, then the body itself. Eventually, when the educational purpose was fulfilled, guards would receive orders to remove bodies. Without ceremonies, without respect, they would cut ropes or pull out nails. Without ceremonies, without respect, they would cut ropes or pull out nails, letting bodies fall to the ground with a dull thud. For soldiers, it was just post-event cleanup. Like sweeping trash after a show, it's like maintenance crew collecting used cups after a show, except the cups are people who were breathing a short time ago. The usual fate of bodies was the common grave, a large pit outside, city limits where remains of the executed, unclaimed slaves and indigents were piled and periodically covered with lime and earth, without markers, without prayers, without remembrance. It's like being permanently deleted from collective memory. No backup, no possible recovery. For some, however, there were exceptions. Families with enough connections or money could occasionally obtain permission to claim the body of an executed relative. This required substantial bribes or favors to Roman officials, the imperial, equivalent of paying exorbitant expedited processing fees. It's like those companies that charge extra for a service that should be basic. It's like those companies that charge extra for a service that should be basic. Except the service is the right to bury your family member. If your body were one of the few claimed, it would be washed, anointed with oils and herbs to mask the smell, and wrapped in linen cloths. Depending on family tradition, you might be placed in a rock-hewn tomb. Depending on family tradition, you might be placed in a rock-hewn tomb, a simple sarcophagus, or cremated. These practices varied widely in the multicultural Roman Empire world. It's like different privacy settings available after your digital death. It's like different privacy settings available after your digital death. Some preserve your memory, others erase it completely. For most crucified, however, there was no final dignity. Body discarded, name forgotten, existence reduced to a statistic in some Roman administrative record. Crucified today, 17. Wood used, 34 logs. Nails used, 51. Bureaucratic efficiency to the end. It's like being reduced to a data point in a corporate spreadsheet. Your humanity completely abstracted. And what would happen to your soul according to the beliefs of the time? For many Romans, someone who died so dishonorably would be condemned to wander restlessly, unable to cross to the underworld properly. Without proper funeral rites, without coin placed in your mouth to pay Karen the ferryman, you'd be trapped in spiritual limbo. It's like trying to enter an exclusive club without invitation or ID. It's like trying to enter an exclusive club without invitation or ID, barred at the cosmic. The social repercussions for your family would continue for generations. In many ancient societies, execution by crucifixion brought a permanent stain on the entire family lineage. Opportunities would be denied, doors closed, status lowered. It's like having your credit score ruined, except it affects your whole family and can't be repaired over time. Ironically, despite all Roman effort to ensure crucified were forgotten, history took an ironic turn. The most famous crucifixion of all, that of Jesus of Nazareth, transformed this execution method. The most famous crucifixion of all, that of Jesus of Nazareth, transformed this execution method into the world's most recognized religious symbol. 2,000 years later, people would use the cross image on jewelry, tattoos, and home decoration. It's like the Roman Empire's corporate logo being hijacked and transformed into a symbol of resistance against everything it represented. For most crucified, however, forgetting was complete and effective. You were just a number, an example, a momentary warning. The empire continued its inexorable march, and the hill was prepared for the next group of unfortunates. The nails were collected for reuse. Romans were economical even in their brutality. It's like the endless cycle of breaking news that capture momentary attention before being replaced by the next crisis. It's like the endless cycle of breaking news that capture momentary attention before being replaced by the next crisis, except you were the news, and your cycle ended permanently. Roman crucifixion disappeared as official practice over 1600 years ago, abolished by Emperor Constantine in 337 AD after his conversion to Christianity. But its cultural impact persists today in surprisingly diverse ways. It's like that former co-worker who changed jobs years ago, but somehow still influences office culture. The most obvious legacy is, of course, the cross symbol in Christianity. What began as an emblem of torture and humiliation transformed into the most globally recognized religious icon. Billions of people today venerate what was essentially the Roman equivalent of the electric chair. It's like if, 2 millennia from now, people wore miniature lethal injections as symbols of hope and redemption. History has an extraordinary sense of irony. Crucifixion also left deep marks on language. When you carry your cross or go through Calvary, you're invoking metaphors directly derived from Roman practice. Even expressions like crucial moment or crossroads carry etymological echoes of this execution method. It's like using slang from a TV series canceled decades ago without realizing the origin. It's like using slang from a TV series canceled decades ago without realizing the origin. Crucifixion permanently infiltrated our vocabulary. Artistically, few images have been represented as many times as crucifixion. From Giotto to Salvador Dalí, from Byzantine icons to contemporary performances in the Philippines. From Giotto to Salvador Dalí, from Byzantine icons to contemporary performances in the Philippines, the image of the human body nailed to the cross transcended its original context to become a universal artistic motif. It's like a meme that never dies, constantly reinterpreted by each new generation of creators. Ironically, crucifixion, designed by Romans to be the epitome of shame and forgetting, became a symbol of honorable martyrdom and eternal memory. People Romans wanted to erase from history are now remembered specifically for how they died. It's like a PR plan that went spectacularly wrong, transforming victims into heroes and executioners into villains. From a medical standpoint, crucifixion continues to fascinate researchers. Detailed studies on the physiology of death on the cross appear in medical journals, exploring the exact mechanisms of trauma, pain, and eventual organ failure. It's like a medical case study that refuses to be archived, continually re-examined with new technologies and understandings. In modern popular culture, references to crucifixion appear in surprising places. From movies and novels to video games and heavy metal music, the imagery persists. Characters in cross position appear in dramatic moments of sacrifice in countless narratives. It's like a visual shortcut for a significant moment of heroic suffering, a code that transcends cultural barriers. Perhaps more disturbing is how echoes of the mentality that allowed crucifixion still resonate in contemporary discussions about punishment and public spectacle. When debates about live broadcasts of executions arise, or when punishments are defended more for their value as examples than for justice, Rome's ghosts hover nearby. It's like discovering that modern app you use daily was built on antiquated code no one bothered to completely update. In parts of the Philippines, actual crucifixion reenactments occur annually during Holy Week. Volunteers are really nailed to crosses, though with medical precautions, as demonstrations of devotion. The Catholic Church officially disapproves of the practice, but it persists as cultural tradition. It's like a historical recreation that went too far, literally embodying historical horror in the name of spiritual understanding. In forensic science, crucifixion established a macabre precedent for understanding how specific body positions affect human physiology. Modern studies on body position in torture or accidental death cases frequently reference crucifixion mechanisms. It's like a terrible case study that continues informing scientific understanding centuries later. And then there's the political aspect. Crucifixion was, fundamentally, a political statement, a graphic demonstration of what happens when state power is challenged. This use of suffering as political message echoes through centuries in practices like public executions, photographs of humiliated prisoners, or punishment videos shared online. It's like we've updated the software, but the underlying operating system of public intimidation remains the same. What Romans could never have predicted is how their most degrading form of punishment would become a lasting symbol not of their power, but of resistance to it. The cross, intended to demonstrate the futility of challenging Rome, now symbolizes the idea that temporal power, no matter how brutal, can be overcome. It's like a virus that mutated to resist the very antibiotic created to destroy it. Crucifixion transcended its original purpose to mean something diametrically opposite. 2,000 years later, when you see a cross, whether in a church, artwork, necklace, or cultural reference, you're observing the legacy of one of the most brutal execution methods ever conceived. That it was transformed from a symbol of state terror into an emblem of hope and redemption is perhaps the greatest plot twist in human cultural history. As we leave behind our journey through the Roman crucifixion experience,
it's worth reflecting on the extraordinary transformation
this torture instrument underwent over the centuries. Few objects in human history have undergone such profound metamorphosis of meaning as the cross. For Romans, crucifixion represented the height of their brutal pragmatism. It was efficient, economical, and incredibly effective as a tool of social control. An empire spanning 3 continents and governing millions of diverse people needed powerful methods to maintain order.
The cross was their clearest message. Defy us, and you'll die in the worst possible way.
In full view of everyone. It's like that smile. You're being filmed, warning in establishments, except the consequence wasn't appearing in security footage, but in a public spectacle of agony. Romans were masters at adopting and adapting technologies and practices from other cultures. They didn't invent crucifixion, they probably imported it from Carthaginians, who in turn may have adapted it from Persians. But as they did with roads, aqueducts, and military techniques, Romans perfected crucifixion, transforming it into a standardized and bureaucratically administered system. It's like Apple taking existing technology and making it more elegant, accessible, and integrated into the ecosystem. Except the ecosystem was state terror, and elegance was efficiency in causing maximum suffering. The great irony, of course, is that an empire that used the cross to silence dissidents ended up being remembered largely through its most infamous symbol. Rome built impressive monuments, created lasting artworks, developed a legal system that influences modern codes, and spread revolutionary technologies throughout the ancient world. But for billions of people today, Rome's most immediately recognizable visual legacy is the torture instrument that ended up symbolizing the faith that eventually supplanted Roman religion. It's impossible to discuss the cross without recognizing how Jesus of Nazareth's crucifixion fundamentally transformed its meaning. In approximately 3 centuries, the cross went from symbol of shame and defeat. In approximately 3 centuries, the cross went from symbol of shame and defeat to emblem of spiritual victory and redemption. Early Christian communities initially hesitated to use the cross as a symbol due to its brutal connotations. It would be like using a gallows or electric chair as a religious symbol today. But gradually, what was an instrument of death was reinterpreted as a portal to eternal life. This transformation of meaning reminds us of the remarkable human capacity to reframe even the most terrible experiences. In diverse cultures and eras, symbols of oppression have been reclaimed by the oppressed. In diverse cultures and eras, symbols of oppression have been reclaimed by the oppressed and transformed into emblems of resistance and survival. It's like communities reclaiming formerly pejorative terms. It's like communities reclaiming formerly pejorative terms or converting sites of historical trauma into memorials of hope. The cross was perhaps the first and most impactful example of this phenomenon. Romans, who valued above all power, order, and control, inadvertently created a symbol that would end up representing the idea that there is power in vulnerability. If they could see how their intimidation instrument would be reinterpreted, they'd be perplexed. It's like discovering your carefully designed corporate logo was adopted by a movement that opposes everything your company represents. Crucifixion makes us contemplate the limits of state power. Rome could control bodies, territories, and resources, but couldn't ultimately control meanings. The empire that seemed invincible eventually fell, while the symbol of its most terrible punishment persisted, completely transformed. There's a profound lesson here about the ephemeral nature of power based on force. There's a profound lesson here about the ephemeral nature of power based on force and the durability of ideas that transcend physical coercion. For us, modern observers, crucifixion serves as a somber reminder of human capacity to institutionalize cruelty. Romans weren't monsters. They were ordinary people operating within a system that normalized extreme brutality. Officials filled out forms. Artisans manufactured crosses. Soldiers followed orders. Citizens watched as entertainment. It's a disturbing mirror for our own societies, where systemic injustices can also be normalized. It's a disturbing mirror for our own societies, where systemic injustices can also be normalized through bureaucracy, compartmentalization of responsibility, and gradual desensitization. At the same time, the cross's transformation offers hope that even the darkest symbols of our capacity for cruelty can be redeemed. If the cross can go from instrument of state terror to worldwide symbol of sacrificial love and transcendent hope, perhaps other cycles of violence and oppression can also be broken and reframed. When you see a cross today, whether in a church, hospital, artwork, or necklace, you're observing the final product of one of the most extraordinary semiotic journeys in human history. What once represented the worst we could do to each other came to symbolize, for many, the best we can aspire to be. Roman crucifixion, in all its calculated brutality, reminds us of our capacity to normalize horror. Its transformation reminds us of our equally powerful capacity to transcend that horror. Its transformation reminds us of our equally powerful capacity to transcend that horror and find meaning beyond suffering. Both lessons remain vitally relevant in our modern world. Did you enjoy this journey through Rome's cruelest side? Then share this video and comment below. Did you already know the true story behind crucifixion? Don't forget to activate the bell, because we still have many brutal, curious, and surprising stories from antiquity to explore together.